Life is creepy. I don't like it in here.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Where did she go?
Wild. Put your soul into it. Wild. What's going on around here?
And welcome everybody to Haunting Live podcast this week. Thank you so much for being here and for following us, of course, on social media on our Facebook page. We are live today. And don't forget, we are also on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube as well. But if you missed a live show, you can always catch us on the podcast apps later on as we post our episodes up to the podcast apps as well. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget, I do have a special announcement coming up later after the show today, so tune in for that. But today we have our special guest, Psychic Sally Diane. She is here with us, and we'll be talking to her a little bit about her career, where she started from, and what she's doing nowadays, and how it links to her YouTube that she does now, which is the Queen of Ooga Booga. So let's bring in Sally today and talk with her. Hi, Sally. How are you?
Hi, Trevor.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you on this beautiful day. Thank you for taking your time out to talk with us about your history and also your current YouTube channel. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what brought you into the psychic field, the paranormal field, and all that? How did you get started?
You know, I don't remember a second in my life when I wasn't psychic. When I was a little kid, when I was a preschooler, I used to have cartoon dreams about stuff that would happen. And as I got older, the dreams just got a little bit more realistic. It wasn't until I was 8 years old that I understood that not everybody saw things that were going to happen. And much older than that, when I realized that everybody's capable of it. You know, we put up our blinders and that. But anyhow, when I was 15 years old, my mother gave me my first deck of tarot cards, and it was a Rider-Waite deck, and just the classic Eden Gray book, which is what I suggest for all people who start with the tarot anyway. And she's got 3 different books, and they're essentially the same thing. It's a paperback by Eden Gray. It's going to be reasonably priced, and it's going to be excellent for beginners. Focus in on the back of the book. Then, you know, as time went by, I started reading out of my house, and eventually I emigrated to Canada in the early 90s, and I started doing psychic fairs and psychic parties. And I also opened up a shop, and I started teaching classes. And I also got on the radio, AM 96 out of Cambridge. It's not there anymore, but for a couple years there in the early to mid 90s, I was on every Sunday night for 2 hours for Psychic Sundays Live.
Right, and nowadays you have your own YouTube channel with the same name called Psychic Sundays, and you dubbed yourself with the show itself, but you're dubbed yourself a new name. Can you explain what your new name is as well?
My name is the Queen of Ooga Booga, and that is the name of my YouTube channel. That's why I have the crown there and the crown collection in the back. And where the Queen of Ooga Booga came from is when I opened up my shop and I started doing readings for a living. My brother, I think he was trying to get under my skin. He was trying to be mean. You know how brothers are. And so he called me the Queen of Ooga Booga. But to be real honest, I love the name. So as soon as I could, I got an email address with the Queen of Ooga Booga, and eventually started a YouTube channel. And there you go. I do have a number of videos on a wide variety of topics. I have a video on a couple videos on reading the tarot cards. I even have a video up there on how to make a water pie.
Right, so we recommend everybody, of course, go check out your YouTube channel. You do free readings every Sunday night on your YouTube channel with live interactive chat, and your host, your producer as well, Ollie, is there every night moderating for you as well. So everybody should go check that out for free readings from Psychic Sally Diane. So
make sure you, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Make sure you tune in tonight at 9 o'clock to watch me live. And anybody who would like a free reading right at the top of the show, send your question to me before 8 o'clock tonight to the Queen of Ooga Booga at gmail.com. It's all one word, easy to remember, Queen of Ooga Booga at gmail.com. You send me a question before 8 o'clock, and I will read it right at the front of the show and do a reading for you. I do my emails first.
Yeah, that's an awesome way to do it, is for them directly to send you the questions personally first. That way they can type it out the way they want it to be, and you can read it directly live on your YouTube for them. So how did that get started, though? How did you guys decide to get onto the YouTube format and continue on Psychic Sundays? What brought it about?
Well, we've always kind of batted the idea around. But, over the past couple of years, we've been watching YouTube more and more, and the YouTube psychics. And finally, we just decided that we were going to give it a try ourselves. And I put up a number of videos, on a number of different topics. For a while there, I was doing palm reading videos, and I was doing videos about modern politics and celebrities and that. And then we decided we'd go live on Sunday night, and it's been a little over a year. It's been wildly popular. It's my favorite time of the week. This week it's my second favorite. Being with you is my first favorite.
Yes, for those that don't know and aren't aware, Sally and us here at Haunting Live have family connection, so we've been related in family matters, but we also relate in the paranormal as well, and we've been doing stuff for quite a few years together. So she is our go-to lady for the paranormal as it is, and we help each other out quite often. So I guess we started doing the shows at the same time here, both at Haunting Live streaming here for the podcast, as well as your show kind of started at the same time during COVID. So I think they've been well worth the connection and worth getting our names out there a bit more.
Yeah, and we've done a few shows together. A few years back, we started with the investigation of the ghosts of the queens, and this will be our third event. No, because remember we did the live event right when COVID was starting up. Remember that was in Henry's.
Yeah, actually, there is a video posted on our social media for that as well. There is actually a second event. So you're right, the 2021 event coming up is going to be our third event. And tickets for that event are on sale right now through our website, HauntingLivePodcast.com. Underneath the events tab, you can check it out. And tickets are $140 for the 2-day event. And it's hosted at the Queen's Inn in Stratford. So
and for those who stay at the Queen's Inn, Chris and I are going to be having a pajama party where we will be giving mini readings in our pajamas. To those of you who are in your pajamas, of course.
Yes. Make sure you wear your pajamas to that event. So
yes.
It's a 2-day event starting Friday, October 29th. There's going to be a dinner at the Queen's that the staff of the Queen's is putting on for us, and it's an awesome dinner. And we have speeches following the dinner with a special guest, Mary Ann Kennedy from the TV show Ghosts of Dufferin County and Beyond. She will be there talking about mediumship, I believe, and then she's also doing a class on Saturday along with the other workshops going on Saturday afternoon. So it's a full weekend event for those that are interested. Tickets are on sale right now for that event. So maybe we can talk a little bit about the Queens right now too. It'd be a good lead into what you do at the Queens. So tell us a little bit how you got involved with the Queen's Inn and what your sort of duties there are.
Okay. Now, I've been with Queen's Inn for a long time, over 16 years. And I started out on the overnight shift. So I got to be in the hotel when it was Just me, middle of the night, middle of the winter, nobody else. And you get pretty familiar with the ghosts at that point in time. There's one in particular, Elsie Deal. It's the first and only time I have seen a full-on color apparition. And it was middle of the night, middle of the winter, nobody in the hotel but me. All the doors are locked, and I'm working on the floor, and all of a sudden, this lady comes screaming out of the dining room, running toward the boar's head. So, of course, I chased her, and nobody there. And the rest of the night, she kept pulling tricks on me and pulling tricks on me and pulling tricks on me. So she actually became one of my favorite ghost stories. But I found out from somebody to whom I told the story that she believes that the ghost was actually Elsie Deal, which makes a lot of sense because she was in I used to call her my little suffragette because she's in this blue dress, but it was like the blue dress like women in the 20s wore. And so that Elsie Deal it is, and it makes a lot of sense. And every now and then I have a little contact with her, but mostly I just walk through and smile and nod at her. Also, there's down in the basement, there's Curry, and Curry stands in the doorway of the laundry room, and he just watches. But I used to read poetry to him and stuff because he liked it. And there's a lot of other ghosts, but you'll have to come see the speech to find out about those, including Mr. Creepy Pants.
Yeah, so you're going to be talking just about exactly that when you do your speech at the event coming up this October. So she'll have lots more information and details and stories to tell you guys about the hauntings at the Queens. Ourselves have had a lot of experiences there too. In fact, we just, speaking of the basement, just did an investigation down in the basement. I think the first people ever to be allowed down there for a paranormal investigation. And the only time that we're going to be allowed down there, it was a one-time thing, so we're appreciative of that, of course, due to the Queen's staff only down there and whatnot. So, but we did capture some things down there as well on our video and our audio, so there is activity down in the basement, and that video can be seen on our social media. Check out our YouTube channel under Haunting Live Podcast if you want to check that video out. It's fairly recent, called just The Basement of the Queens, I think, so go check that out. So.
And we'll be doing a seance. Mm-hmm. And this is actually the third seance we've done here, us guys, because the first one was back a number of years ago. That's when David LaForte was still alive. And we had the whole team of psychics there. And we had the medium's trumpet that was doing the little pings. And then the last time, and Chris did that one in the Queen Victorian room. And we had all the electrical gadgets and gizmos. And this October, it's going to be yours truly who's going to be chairing the seance. So I hope I do as well as everybody else did. It should be a lot of fun.
It will be for sure, and I'm sure you'll be amazing at it because it's your location. You know the energy there. You talk to the spirits there constantly. They know you, so I'm sure they will hopefully perform for you when you ask them to that night. So
I'm hoping.
Yeah. I remember that last time we did it when we had David there with us there and the other members. And we had a lot of activity that time, even so much to the point where as soon as we finished the closing prayer to the seance, the doors to the room actually went like this. They went boom, 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 back and forth like somebody ran out of the room. So that was really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's always a lot of fun at the Queens. Mm-hmm. You know, and let's see, we also have the investigation of various haunted parts of the hotel, including the Pinckney Suite. And we have the Frankenbox. They had the Frankenbox in the Pinckney Suite. And of course, I'm an employee there too. So every time I go in the room, what does the Frankenbox say to me?
It says, get back to work, Sally. So the last time we had it running there with you in the room, it said work. It's all you want to do is get back to work. Because you usually work the night shift, and the spirits are used to you being behind the counter at the hotel, at the check-in counter, doing your job. So they're wondering why you're upstairs not doing your work. So
yes, go to work.
Go to work. And one time we actually had, a couple years ago, the Frank's Box running. For those who don't know what we're talking about, the Frank's Box is a paranormal tool that we use that creates white noise for spirits to actually communicate directly to us with their voice, so you can hear spirits communicate and talk. And we had it running actually in one of the rooms. I think we had it in the room opposite the picnic suite on the same floor. And as soon as we opened the door to that suite to check it out, a male voice came across and said, "I'm Pinckney." Just 2 words. We heard it very clear. So he wanted us to know he was still there.
Yeah, that particular room, there has been, it's that one's got an echo. Oh, I said I wasn't going to talk to you about it until the speech. So.
Oh, no, it's okay. Tell a little bit about it. Don't go into too much detail, but maybe tell a little bit about your story.
Right. Well, this is something I just call it an echo, and they call it the man in the mirror. And it's just when you're in that room, and it doesn't matter which mirror it's in. If there's a mirror, and sometimes if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can see a man walking towards you, turning around and walking away in the mirror. And we've had a couple guests see that, and well, that's been fun.
Yeah, mirrors are definitely well known in the paranormal field as portals, so it makes sense that a spirit would use that to walk through, to come through as. Actually, during our investigation of the basement that we were just talking about, I did see a mirror downstairs, so I don't know if that was the mirror from upstairs or not, but I did see a mirror in the basement of the hotel, so I don't know if that was the one that was taken out of the room or if it was a different one, but weird that there was a mirror just happened to be down in that area too, so.
Oh yeah, strange things happen in the basement for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity in the whole hotel. So for those of you interested in coming out to the event, book your tickets. It is still happening. There are less restrictions now than last year, so we're hoping to have more people out for the event than were able to last year. But of course, whatever restrictions there are come October, we will still abide by any COVID rules that are out there for the event. So. But it is still happening. It is still taking place this Halloween. If you guys are getting that anxious to get out and do something, why not come and check out the Queens in Stratford with us? So let's switch now to your readings more directly, Sally. And how did you develop your mediumship skills and your psychic abilities with the tarot decks? Was it a lot of learning for you, or was it something that you kind of picked up fairly easy? And how did you kind of work them with your abilities?
Well, like I started when I was 15. My mom got me a deck of tarot cards, and the deck of tarot cards came with a little white book. And she also got me a paperback written by Eden Gray, that's a book I highly recommend for any new beginner reader. But I started out, of course, being 15, being a kid, being lazy, with the little booklet, because that was small. And it was very frustrating. And some of the stuff I was looking at going, I know that's not it. So I finally, reluctantly, picked up Eden Gray's book, and I started reading the back, and I started reading about the astrological associations, the numerology, and especially the symbology. And when I started studying a little bit, those cards just came to life and connected with me. And then as time went on, when I moved to the Detroit area, I became involved with the Church of Man, which is a group of channelers. So I used to do channeling there. And my friend, one of my very good friends at the time, she's still a very good friend, used to channel an entity called Qatar. So we do the group meditation and listen to Qatar and listen to a few of the other entities that these people channeled. And it was a good experience. It let me see a different side of the mystical world, and it's also helped me in that I come with rules when it comes to mediumship and when it comes to spirit, where they don't have, spirit just does not have permission to just bust in at any time. There's a certain point in the reading where I'm open to hearing what spirit has to say. And other than that, sorry, folks, I won't listen. There was one time, though, I had this lady come into my shop. I'm rambling here. I'm sorry, but this is a good story. This is a really good story. This lady came into the shop, and I was reading out the magic box in Stratford at the time, and I knew that she was challenged. I knew that she was low income, and I felt bad about taking her money, because she's low income and everything. But when I was about ready to tell her, no, you need to take your money back, I could tell by the look on her face that she knew exactly what she was spending. She knew exactly what she wanted, and it was a reading with me. So fine, I do the reading, and I had some product on the floor, some pixie dust. Well, in the middle of the reading, this little Scottish man walks in, and he starts poking around. And I looked at her. I said, do you know an old Scottish man, maybe a grandpa? Oh, that's my grandpa. What does he have to say? What does he have to say? Well, as soon as she said that, he turned around and gave me an earful about what he thought of psychics. And I just calmly looked at him and said to her, while I was looking at him, he said that he's a little concerned that people might take advantage of you. That's all I said. But he kept poking around and went over to the pixie dust. And he says to me, you're going to give her some of this, aren't you? And I did. And the best part about it, when I just picked up and randomly handed her something, she was happy. She was surprised. She was thankful. No, she was happy. She was thankful, but she was not surprised. She knew she was going to get a treat going in there, and her grandpa made sure she did. And that, I think that was like, so that was so cute. They watched over her like that. And spirit does watch over us. I know it does.
Yeah, they do. When you have to have rules like that in place, I think anytime you're dealing with spirit and energy, right? Like if you're psychic or not, if you don't know your abilities yet, if you're just a bit clairaudient, even like if you just hear spirits talk to you, you have to have that kind of rule set in place saying, okay, at this time of day, yes, it's okay. But when I'm sleeping at night or something, it's like, no, it's not okay to continuously bug me when I'm trying to sleep or whatever. So you have to have those rules in place, I think.
Well, yeah, because it's your body, it's your mind, it's your conscious, it's your spirit space. You should be in control of it. But anyhow, before I digressed, I was talking about, you asked about my history. And this is all stuff that happened when I was in the Detroit area. I also took a psychic development class with Joy, which really helped me a lot as far as opening up some of my experience, that and the being with trans channelers. So I ended up immigrating to Canada. And when I came to Canada, that's when I started doing psychic parties, which I do not do anymore. And I also started doing psychic fairs, and it was just random. I saw an ad for a fair in Kitchener, and I hunted down the promoter. And it's like 4 days before the fair, but I don't know that it's unlikely that you're going to get a spot 4 days before a fair, right? Well, I called the lady. She had just had a cancellation. And she says, I don't ordinarily schedule people that I don't know, but I have a feeling about you. By the way, thank you, Ginger. And at that fair, I met a lot of people that are still my friends today. There was Fernando Souza, and he's out of Strathroy, and he's a medium. He does awesome work. He also speaks Portuguese. And I also met a very good friend of mine, Richard Ravenhawk. And Richard Ravenhawk had a show at the time, Psychic Dimensions, and he had me on his show too. And that was a lot of fun. Of course, now that's 30 years have passed, so we're all older, but we're still good friends.
Yeah, you meet the most interesting people in this field. I've had a lot of people that we're still friends with as well through the field, and just a lot of like-minded people, I think, get together and do this type of thing. So
yes, and it's so awesome. Like, you remember the one time you got together a band of psychics at the hotel, and we were in the RJ and we did that interview? I love that. That was awesome. We had let's see, it was me, it was Wanda, it was Deanna. There were two others.
I think one was Pam, and the other one was, I can't remember who all we had, but yeah, we had a bunch of us. We had maybe like 6 or 8 people that were all mediums or psychics, and we just did a live chat together. Oh, Hillary, yes. Yeah. Hillary was the other member.
Oh, yeah. It was a good group. We should get together again sometime.
Yeah, we should look at that again, have another get together once. I think it'd be a good thing, actually, after COVID's done and things are open again. We should all do a group session again. So
I'll take part.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, Sally, so much for telling us a little bit about your background and how you got into psychic work. And so, what do you do nowadays during COVID? I know it's been a lot of restrictions and whatnot, but have you been able to do the same thing? Are you looking forward to getting back out? I know you have a location that you do things from, so you can explain a little bit about what that's about also.
Okay, so during COVID, I've been doing my readings online, and anybody who would prefer reading in the comfort of their own home can certainly have a reading with me online. But I do them in person at the spa near the tracks. And I'm looking so forward to doing the in-person readings. I've already sent them a whole bunch of dates for July and August, and I will be starting in-person readings at the spa near the tracks here in Stratford on July 7th. And Aaron sells me out fast, so if you want to spot with me, make sure you give the spa near the tracks a call to get an appointment set up. I'm also doing my show, you know that. And I'm working toward retirement. Once I retire, I'm going to step up a little bit more on my YouTube presence.
Yeah, once you retire, you have a lot more time to focus on the things that you want to do for sure. And we'll put the number up to the spa of the tracks, and they can contact them directly for a booking with you in person starting in July. So that'd be amazing to get back at that. And
yeah. I'll get to do the crystal readings, because the problem with doing the readings online is two things I can't do that I love dearly. One is the palm readings. I mean, I can have people hold their hand up to the camera, but it's not the same. It really isn't. It's such a good connection, and your whole life is in your hands. Yeah, I think that's, well, you know me well enough to know I start reading your palms the second you show me your hand. You know, it's kind of like looking into people's medicine chest. So there isn't a single celebrity or political figure that I haven't read their palms. But it's so much better to do it in person, because you can get the subtleties of the palm. And then another reading that I can do in person that I can't do online is the crystal readings. And that's where I have a bowl of assorted crystals, and you just pick out a number of one at a time. And you pick them out with your eyes closed. And then I do a reading from that. And don't tell anybody, but I let you keep one of the crystals too.
well, that's a good deal. You get a crystal reading and you get something at the end as well. So something to help your energy after the reading. So that's really good. So yeah, everybody feel free to check out Spa on the Tracks or the Spa at the Tracks. And that is down in Stratford downtown, and you can give them a call, and Sally will be doing her in-person readings very shortly, starting in July. So if you want that personal reading, give Spa by the Tracks a call, and they can book you in for one of her available dates. But if you want a free reading in the meantime, don't forget to check her YouTube, The Queen of Ooga Booga, out tonight. She is every Sunday night, and it's at 9 o'clock for an hour. Approximately. I know sometimes she goes over an hour, especially if she has a lot of people in. And you can get your free reading. But be sure to type your question in during the live chat, or actually, better yet, send her an email to the Queen of Ooga Booga at gmail.com, and she will do the email questions first on air. So.
And another thing that we do on the show, and you had asked me to do it here, is I do readings on events of the day. Yeah, I'm not sure. What would you like to look at?
Well, let's do one for the one thing I think everybody is wondering about that may be related to politics, I know, but yeah, I know you've done some of these in the past, but there's a lot of news happening this coming week for the former president, and I think a lot of people might be wondering the Dawn is going to be having happen to them this week. There might be some potential news happening, and might be some things coming down, and I think a lot of people might be wondering what's happening this coming week.
And while we were talking about things coming down, I'm using the Lenormand, and the card that showed up here is what's called the Message. So yeah, there is going to be someone's getting served, and I think it's the Don himself. So yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
they're actually leaning towards one of their CEO people, the
Weiselberg.
Weiselberg. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
him is who they're focusing on. But if it's the main person as well, that would be interesting.
Yeah. But just when I put that up, it's like it feels like that envelope coming down, but lands with a heavy thud.
Mm.
So it's kind of like they're delivering some really heavy paperwork this week.
Yeah, the rumor is this week they are being indicted and charged and served. So I think there will be some news by the end of this week, they say. So.
Okay, so, and I will hold these cards up as I pick them out. Okay, for one, this card came up and it's the fish, but and it sort of flew out. That's why I'm holding it up, because I haven't even started laying the cards out. But what this tells me, because you got the king here and you've got the three fish, it's sort of like, yeah, they may try to get to Donald Trump, but they're going to get the kids first. He's so going to roll on his kids. He's got no loyalty.
He's got no loyalty to anybody but himself. So I think everybody's actually going to flip on him, and he will. That's what they're hoping for, I think. And I think they're going to, like you say, go one by one to get to him. So.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they are. And I'm just putting these down, and I'll lay them down one by one.
Okay.
So when we look at where it starts, you've got the trees and you've got the mountain. And one thing that both of them talk about is obstacles. So right up to this point, the whole Trump organization has been putting up obstacles. And they've managed to get it to go out for quite some time. But having said that, when I look at what's coming up next, you've got the clover and the cat. And the cat, when I put this up, cats can be really good hunters. And they can be good ambush hunters. And I think that whatever they're doing, and it seems to be focused on the SDNY, the New York part. This feels like it's in Georgia. They've got something tricky going down in Georgia, and the phrase "rip the rug out from under them." So it's kind of like they're coming at them from New York. They're coming at them from New York. They're coming at them from New York. But you're going to get a left uppercut from Georgia here. So Georgia's going to do something there. And it's Georgia, not George, Georgia. But you also have the clover. So SDNY has also had a streak of luck. And I think that might be that Weiselberg daughter-in-law, because they got just exactly what they need, just the catalyst they need to get everything going. So whatever that little bit of information they got from her, things are moving forward, and they're starting to move forward fast. So you got a ship here. And as I'm putting out, the word ship of state comes up. So this talks about the states. And I think that Georgia and New York are working together in tandem from behind the scenes. And that's very bad news. You have the cross here, and usually people think the cross is a symbol of hope and everything. Not in the Lenormand. Not in the Lenormand. It's pretty much, the worst card you can get in the deck. It's the card that says they're going to be reading your obituary. So this is the end of the Trump organization. And I could tell you, don't be mad at the outcome. Because first off, Ivanka. And Ivanka shows up as a snake. And it's been said that Ivanka is a little Donald. She is going to roll on him big time. Her and Jared. So she's going to get off the hook. I think it's the two kids, especially Eric, that's going to get into the most trouble. And you've got the moon here. And the moon talks about things happening within the phase of the moon. And also, it's starting to we're going into the waning moon where it's getting darker. So this tells me that between now and mid-July, a lot of stuff's going to come out. They've already set the dominoes up. They're going to start to fall. But they fall fast. Like I said, don't get mad, don't get mad, don't get mad. But, and I keep telling you folks this, in the end, the Donald, the prime guy, he gets away with it. I don't think he stays here because he's got a whole new beginning coming his way over the summer. I think that he is going to skip the country before he gets any. And I know it sounds crazy, but I just see him getting, I see everybody around him falling and him still standing. Him being the guy, the one. Everybody else got what they deserved, and I didn't get into trouble because I don't deserve it. He is truly the devil. I swear, he is truly the devil, and shame on anybody who's ever gotten involved with him. Has never, ever, ever gone good for anybody who's gotten involved with Donald Trump and the entire 70 some odd years that he's walked the face of the earth. It's not going to change.
Well, that's just it, right? You can't.
Everybody's going to get into trouble but him.
Right, you can't change somebody the way they are, and if they're a snake like that, they're going to wiggle out of anything they can, right? So, and yeah, I've been hearing that as well, that Ivanka's going to be the one to turn, and the two boys are being the ones in trouble. So I think that's the way it's going to go also, but I think he's going to have so much to deal with that it's just going to be ruined for him, that's all. So
yeah, he's already planning his escape.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Don't think he does. Don't think that he's not valuable to Putin or whoever that guy is in Saudi Arabia. Because he's still, even though his popularity's gone down, he still has close to 20% of the United States population on his side backing him. So if he's on Putin's side, then that's 20% of the United States population backing Putin.
Exactly, and look what just happened with Biden and Putin, too. They just met, so, I mean, Putin could be leaning in another way, too, right? So, who knows? But I think this week's going to be interesting. I think the show is going to start sometime this week, so just sit back and watch what happens, I guess.
Get your popcorn ready.
Get the popcorn ready and enjoy. So I think it's going to be interesting. But just before we do let you go here, Sally, thank you so much for being here on Haunting Live. We've had you as a guest here in the past when we first started. I know we've improved a lot of things since then here on Haunting Live, so thank you so much for coming back on and taking your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. You have a great week.
You too. And don't forget, everybody watching, to tune in tonight and every Sunday night at 9 o'clock on her YouTube. The Queen of Ooga Booga does just what she did today, some free readings for you guys. And she will be happy to take your questions and get your questions answered using different things. She uses the Lenormand. She uses regular tarot. She uses also ruins too, I think. So she uses a bunch of different mediums to answer your questions, and if you send in your questions beforehand, she can get those answered first for you, live on the air. So don't forget to send in your questions to thequeenofoogabuga@gmail.com and check out her show tonight live at 9 o'clock. So thank you, Sally, for being here, and have a great night, and good luck tonight with the show, and hope that you have an amazing show and rest of your weekend as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that was Sally Diane. She is located over in Stratford, Ontario, and she does free readings on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock on her YouTube channel. So don't forget to go check her out and support her as well as us. And you can find her under the Queen of Ooga Booga. So go check her stuff out tonight and get your questions answered live on the air. But thank her so much for being here, guys. I do have a quick announcement I want to make just before we let you guys go here today on Haunting Live. Tune in tomorrow, Monday at 9 o'clock. in the evening. We're launching a brand new interview that we just did. We are now underneath media for the channel T&E, and we just did a brand new interview with the launch of season 2 of the show Hotel Paranormal, and we talked to 2 people. We talked to the medium from the show, Deborah, and also the producer of the show, Sarah, and we have those interviews being launched off this week before they launch their second season on July the 2nd. So you guys can check out our brand new interview. We'll be hosting a live premiere episode on YouTube. That's going to be tomorrow, and that's at 9 o'clock on YouTube, but it will also be here on Facebook as well if you guys want to check it out. But we're trying to push some more people over to our YouTube channel, and we have our live premiere of the interview with T&E's Hotel Paranormal, as we are now underneath T&E Media, and hopefully we'll have more interviews and stuff like that from T&E in the future. But our very first one is being launched off tomorrow at 9 o'clock on our YouTube premiere. Also, don't forget, guys, check out Chris's angel readings. He does them twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. You can check out his page under our website under HauntingLivePodcast.com/angel readings, and that's under the podcast. And also, he's hosting a workshop coming up in August as well, so check out his workshop date. I think is August 11th. You can sign up for that. You do have to sign up. It's totally free, but you do have to sign that up as well. And we are also going to be going away next weekend, so you guys can check out a special live stream we're going to be hosting from a secret location. Well, not that secret. We go there quite often. You guys know where it is. But it's going to be held in Milton, and we're going to be doing a special live stream broadcast from our Milton location next weekend, so check that out as well. And don't forget, guys, to follow us on social media. We're trying to get some more people active on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook. We have a lot of followers on there, so feel free to like our page. If you don't like our page, you don't get our notifications, so be sure to have our page liked. That way you get instant notifications when we go live like this. For every week we do our Haunting Live podcast, and also for new posts that we put up. So it's very important that you guys actually like our page. That way you be sure to get our notifications. But you can also follow us on other social medias like our Twitter, our YouTube, and our Instagram as well. But if you guys don't catch us on the live stream, you can also catch us later on and just listen to the podcast. We have tons of podcasts up there, and we are underneath the podcast apps as well if you guys just want to listen to the show later on. But thank you so much for taking time out today, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's guest. We do have more guests booked, so don't forget to tune in every single week here on Haunted Live Podcast. We have a special guest each and every week right here that we interview and talk about what they do. So looking forward to the rest of the summer with our guests coming up and having you guys here as well. But thank you for tuning in today. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you back here next week for Haunting Live.
I'm crazy. I don't like being here.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Where did she go?
Wild. What's your soul into it? Wild. What's going on around you?